So this is my 7th video on how municipal government works, and it's my video of a case study of the City of Montreal. Now, the truth is, Montreal is possibly the most complex municipal government arrangement in Canada. It is also the, how should I put it, most interesting for a number of different reasons. First of all, the City of Montreal is one of the few municipal government in Canada that operates on the basis of parliamentary democracy. You have a cabinet, a mayor, and it's actually one of the stronger mayor models with political parties and party discipline. So let's look at the arrangements for the City of Montreal. And this is one of those stories that if you tell people in Toronto it, they go, whoa, that's confusing. Like Toronto, Montreal did have a merger happen. Until 2001, you had 28 municipalities in the island of Montreal. And you had a regional level of government called the Montreal Urban Community, which was in fact the entire island. What happened was the Parti Québécois government in January 2001 merged into all municipalities into one under the One City, One Island, One City project, and created 27 boroughs. These boroughs were really the previous municipalities, and they had varying degrees of powers depending on the municipality. Well, Montreal, like most of Quebec, is possibly the most political hot ground in Canada for language, and language played a major role in the boroughs. And the English parts of the island were very upset at the merger, saying, we will take away our language rights because we're now part of their vast French city. So what in fact happened was, in April 2003, up to the election in April 2003, the Liberal government, the Liberal opposition said, we'll provide municipalities with an opportunity to emerge, to separate from the One Island, One City project. And it being Quebec, they held a referendum in 2003 in 22 of the 27 boroughs, and 15 municipalities separated from the vast City of Montreal, mainly the English-speaking strongholds in the west of the island, and you saw a little bit in the east too. So what was created was 16 municipalities on the island, with the biggest being the City of Montreal. But what happened is you created a levels of government which is so interesting that it's confusing. So the City of Montreal retained its borough system, and it created 19 boroughs which were responsible for things like permit, culture and recreation facilities, fire protection, local development, and libraries. And those 16 boroughs were scattered throughout the municipality. Every part of the municipality had a borough, and the borough had a mayor and a council elected separately, but they also elected representatives to the city council, and it was a dual seat, so you sat on the borough council and the city council. And the other interesting thing about the boroughs is that each borough is not a municipality in itself, but a internal division of the City of Montreal. If you're confused, you're not the only one. So, with the boroughs, you had the central municipalities. So you had the City of Montreal and the other municipalities on the island, which were responsible for public security, subsidies, urban planning, and general things. What's really interesting about the central municipalities is that they actually don't do a lot. If you look at the budget for the biggest central municipality, the City of Montreal, most of the money rather goes to the boroughs or to the next level of government I'll be talking about is the Montreal urban agglomeration. But very little of the money actually stays in the city itself. The next level of government, and I know that's 3 levels of government so far, and there's a lot more to come, is really where the power is held. Every local municipality unit sends representatives to the Montreal urban agglomeration, which is the entire island. And if you look at what the urban agglomeration does, it does stuff like assessment. It provides security for the entire island, so the police forces to the entire island, even though each borough is responsible for paying for their own policing. The urban agglomeration provides policing for the entire island and provides so police for the Société de Police de la Ville de Montréal, SPVM, and it's a it's a urban agglomeration wide force, with each borough responsible for elements of the SPVM, paying for it or hiring the minor stuff like bylaw officers and traffic ticket writers. The parking tickets are actually done by the borough, but they're also invested with powers by the SVPM. If you're confused about this, you're not the only one. You have the urban agglomeration also providing courts, the municipal court, housing and social assistance, waste management, planning, sewer water planning, transit, major streets planning, and economic development, with the city providing things like planning, urban planning for the citywide. The boroughs does the zoning, the citywide planning, the official development plan is done by the city. The urban agglomeration is responsible for ensuring cohesion for the entire island in their planning. And transit, water, and sewer are all provided at the urban agglomeration level, with economic development for the entire urban agglomeration, including tourism, done at the urban agglomeration level. Just to confuse things even more, and after living in Quebec for about 9 months, actually 10 months now, I know Quebec likes to confuse things even more. So you have the Montreal metropolitan community. So the Montreal metropolitan community is the island of Montreal and the municipalities surrounding the island of Montreal, except Laval, because of course, actually including Laval. Yeah, including Laval. So it basically is the census area for the island of Montreal and the area surrounding the island of Montreal. And it's responsible for region-wide transit. So you have the ATM, which functions very similar to the GO Transit. Economic development, waste management planning for the entire region, water and sewer planning for the entire region, and various other miscellaneous services. So you really have 4 levels of local government in Montreal, and it's unique in Canada because it has so many levels, and it also has a strong party system. What really created this arrangement is language. Plain and simply, it is language. The English were afraid of having their rights trampled by the French, so you had language come into play here. So that's my case study in Montreal, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. And I'll be back next week with more videos on. I can't remember what my next video is. Anyway, ciao.